Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Councilmember Brad Guskowiak. Today we're talking about the August 4th and the August 18th City Council meetings. Thanks for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Steve.
We have a couple of agendas to get through, so I think we'll just dive right into things here.
Sounds good.
One of the first items from our August 18th meeting was to accept an award of excellence from the Minnesota Recreation and Parks Association. This is for the Riverwind Park renovation project.
It is. This is kind of an exciting award for us because Riverwind, of course, has a long history in Coon Rapids. It used to be a community center. There used to be a pool there at one time. That closed down many, many years ago. And as one of our last remaining park renovations from our park bond, we renovated Riverwind Park. And that included pickleball courts, which are super popular and probably a big reason why we've earned this award. But we also, the building itself had run into a lot of disrepair, and there was talk about actually removing that building, demolishing it, and maybe even creating something smaller. But we looked at a lot of different options, and we found a great way to renovate that building very efficiently for the city, and now it's a beautiful renovated building. And the award was pretty exciting too, because Ryan Gutterson, our supervisor of recreation, entered us into the running for this award, and lo and behold, we earned this award. I actually brought a copy of the award.
You got it. Wow.
There it is, right there.
We got props.
So there, yeah, we have the award that was presented to the City Council last night, and that's from the Minnesota Recreation and Parks Association for Riverwind Park Renovation Award of Excellence.
That's
pretty
awesome.
Exciting.
And I know you guys, some of the council members at least, got to test out the pickleball court at one of our summer meetings last year.
We did. Again, the pickleball's very, very popular and being used all the time. And again, I think that's really what drove this award. Is we have so many people going out there and recreating, and it's great physical fitness, and it's a beautiful facility. So something we can all be proud of.
All right. Council approved a temporary on-sale strong beer and wine liquor license to the Coon Rapids North Star Lions. This is for the upcoming military softball tournament at Sand Creek Park.
Right. This is one of the bigger softball tournaments of the year over there. It's the veterans, like you mentioned, softball. Mm-hmm. And it's been going on for a few years. This year, of course, there's going to be restrictions due to COVID and the social distancing and everything like that. But happy to say that it's going on, and a lot of people can get out there. And I believe it's coming up September 11th.
Yeah, that's what they do. I think it's a couple-day tournament, but the opening ceremonies is that Friday night, which is September 11th this year. So extra special meaning to the folks out there.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Council considered adoption of an ordinance approving a land sale to the United Methodist Church, and you did wind up adopting that.
We did adopt that. Basically, what United Methodist Church asked us for is to convey a very small sliver of land that was left over after we created a frontage road, just a little small sliver, and they actually own two parcels out there where the church is at today, and then another parcel closer to Coon Rapids Boulevard. What this does, it's basically just some house cleaning and cleaning up on the plat that conveys this little parcel of land to the church, and so they can get everything in order on their side.
All right, and they said they were doing this for a possible future sale, but we haven't heard of anything.
No, there's nothing that's come in front of the council or in front of the planning commission as far as that yet, so I'm not aware of that, but it could be in the future.
All right. Council approved fee rate structure and rental rates and user contracts for the Coon Rapids Ice Center. This is rates for 2020 to 2021.
Basically just housekeeping. We do this on an annual basis. We look at our rates at all of the facilities that we have just to make sure that we're market competitive. So our Public Works Department and our supervisor of recreation did some checking against other locations like this, ice centers and other rec centers in the metro area, and found that we are competitive. There's an incremental increase this year. I think the maximum is $5 per rink hour. So just making sure that we're maintaining our competitive rates and that people can enjoy these facilities.
Yeah, and they are still in use right now, correct?
They are, yeah. Everything's open again. Restrictions and masking and all that's happening, but they are open.
Yeah, and the one hockey team still plays there as well.
The Blue Ox.
The Blue Ox, yes.
The Blue Ox is actively, their season is going to be going forward. They're practicing out there right now. We're not sure if there's going to be any spectators allowed yet. That's still to be determined, but yeah, they're a tenant of that facility, and they were affected by these rates.
Yeah. All right. Council adopted resolutions preparing a feasibility report and plans for 2 street reconstruction projects. Believe it or not, we're already talking about road construction for next year when we're still in the midst of this year.
Yeah, I mean, this year has gone so fast, right? But
Yeah.
August of 2020 already. We're talking about road construction projects for 2021. Yeah. So we've identified 2 areas in Coon Rapids that are in need of road constructions, and those are going to be on the north end of town up in Ward 1, and then another one more centrally and south located. The area in Ward 1 is the ward that I represent, is going to be an area from 127th Avenue north all the way up just short of 131st, and from Hanson Boulevard over to Shenandoah Boulevard. So it's going to impact quite a few streets and quite a few residential homes in that area. I asked some questions last night to clarify, to make sure that, is this absolutely needed? And I talked to a lot of residents in the area, and yeah, the roads are between 30 and 35 years old. Yeah. A lot of potholes have been filled over the years, so this is definitely an upkeep that's due. Yeah. And we are planning to award to a single contractor that can then stage it, so the traffic mitigation would be minimized. And of course, later this year, probably in November, residents will start to get notified of the pending street reconstruction, and then those neighborhood meetings and all of that information is communicated.
Yeah, and the actual construction won't happen until next summer of 2021.
That's correct. Would be completed by the end of 2021, yeah.
Yeah, all right. And those people, like I said, that are being assessed will receive notice in the mail. I believe earlier this year, the assessment rate was set for this year somewhere around $2,100.
It's right around that $2,000 mark, yeah. And Coon Rapids is kind of on the lower end of the assessment scale. We have a flat rate, and then most of it is picked up either by the general fund or in the event that any of the other infrastructure, water or sewer, need to be done, that's all covered by our enterprise fund for water and sewer.
All right, so impacted homeowners can pay that all at once, or they can also let it roll on to their property tax, I believe, for about a 10-year period.
Yeah, 10-year period, yep.
All right. That was all we had to talk about from our August 18th council meeting. I want to go back now to our first meeting of the month, which was August 4th. This was actually moved to August 5th at one point, because night is usually on August 4th. And then it was moved back once Night to Unite got pushed to October.
That's right.
So we were on our regular Tuesday first meeting. One of the first items there we want to talk about is a resolution appointing a new member to the Arts Commission.
Absolutely. We wanted to welcome George Blindhauer to the Arts Commission. So the City of Coon Rapids, of course, has quite a few commissions, and they're made up of citizen volunteers. So we are super grateful for the folks that are serving on those commissions. In fact, there are some openings on some of the other commissions. So if interested, please contact Joan Lensmeyer at our City Hall, our clerk there, and she can put you in the right direction. And always looking for good people to help serve on these commissions.
Yeah, I feel like we say this all the time when we appoint a new member, but you can't do too much advertising.
That's right.
There are some openings, like you mentioned. You can also go on to the city's website and get the application form and kind of rank your interest of which commissions you would be interested in serving on, and then when those vacancies come up, they let you know.
That's right.
All right. Council approved, actually I'm jumping ahead one here. Let's go back to 6. Council approved a request to allow a 1-year extension for external auditing services. And as I understand this is related, the delay is related to COVID.
That is absolutely correct. Now this was on the consent agenda, and some of the council members asked to make it a separate a discussion area. So because this is kind of a big deal. In the city of Coon Rapids, we have plans in place to have an external auditing person or company awarded only for 5-year contracts. So we are entering into the 5th year of that contract. So this would be the year that we would actually put that out to RFP. But given the circumstances around COVID, the way that we can't have meetings in person and everything would have to be done with Zoom, compiled with the fact that there's going to be quite a bit of regulatory oversight this year because we are getting CARES Act funding distributed to the city of Coon Rapids, we felt that it would be in the best interest to continue with our existing auditing firm for at least 1 year. So we're going to extend for 1 year. And we have done this in the past. We've actually extended for 1 year, and then there was another time where we actually shortened it to 4 years. But really all COVID related to make this move.
All right. Now to move on to that other item, I kind of jumped the gun on here, but it's an exciting one. Coon Rapids approved guidelines for the Coon Rapids Business Relief Grant Program. This is going to help our local businesses who have been impacted by the pandemic.
That's correct. So this is all coming part of the CARES Act at the federal government. They had distributions that came down through the states. They also had distributions that came down into the cities. So Coon Rapids, it's all based on population, the distribution from the federal government. And since Coon Rapids is one of the larger cities in in the state, we received a significant distribution, $4.8 million to be exact. So these funds have to be used solely for COVID-related expenses. And the city, of course, has quite a few COVID-related expenses that we're going to cover with this. But we carved out a large section of this relief fund dedicated to support our local businesses. We know how important they are to our economy. They're employing the folks in our neighborhoods. So we want to do everything we can to support these local businesses. These are grants that can be applied for up to $30,000 per business. And again, just making sure that our businesses are viable and can stay viable through the entire pandemic.
All right, and there are several guidelines. You can read more on the city's website. There was just an update posted. Basically, for if you have fewer than 20 employees, it's up to the $15,000 amount. Between 20 and 100 employees, up to the $30,000 grant. Staff will make those final determinations. The application process will open on September 1st and closes on September 18th. So again, go to the city's website, coonrapidsmn.gov, for more on the rules and to, I don't know that the application is quite out yet, but you can sign up and you'll be notified once the application is. But again, that filing period opens September 1st and will continue for a couple weeks.
That's right. And we really encourage our businesses to take advantage of this because we know that a lot of that funding that came through, it dried up. It was all used up. So we have this pool of money and we want to make sure that it goes to the best use. So again, go to our website, check that out, reach out to our community development people if you need to, and we really want to help. We do everything we can.
All right. Council considered or approved a preliminary plat and adopted a resolution, this is planning case, considering a preliminary plat and final plat for Nordberg Homes. This is over in the area of Hoover Elementary School. This is a 6-unit townhome development.
Yep, that's correct, right off 109th Avenue. And actually, this is kind of old business, even though it was on the new business here, because in 2019, the Planning Commission and the City Council both approved a 6-unit townhome development for that area. It all got through. At that time, the developer actually pulled back. So we have a new developer in here now actually proposing the same type of thing. One thing that I thought was interesting in this is they did listen to their neighbors and some of the stuff that came through the last Planning Commission, and they're orientating the building just the opposite way. So all the garages are going to be facing Hoover on that side versus facing the other neighbors on the other side. So they listened and they made some nice accommodations. I think it's a great fit, nice improvement and addition to that neighborhood.
All right. Council adopted a resolution approving plans and specs and ordering the ad for bids. This is for a new traffic signal on Northdale Boulevard in that very congested Riverdale area.
Yeah. So this goes back a way. Back in 2018, the city commissioned a group to take a look at all of the traffic around Riverdale. And this particular intersection, which is right outside of Menards and kitty corner to Costco, that was identified as the most troublesome intersections in that entire area. So this will be the first of a couple of projects over the next few years, and what's interesting about this is we have a coalition of a lot of parties that want to get this done. The county wants to get this done. The city wants to get this done. Private enterprises such as Menards and Costco are both to the table on this to get this done. So there's going to be an intersection there and dedicated turn lanes in and out, which will really eliminate and reduce the traffic accidents in there and improve the safety for everybody. Yeah. It's long overdue.
Definitely. And we're talking about, this is the exit where people leave Menards if they pass McDonald's to go back on Northdale. Right at that intersection is where they'll be adding a traffic signal, which seems pretty close to that traffic signal already out on Main Street.
That's correct.
But they will interconnect and time all the signals.
Yeah, that's one of the questions that I had, Steve, and because there is that short runway there, but yeah, they are all interconnected through the county's signaling program, so it'll be timed where there's not going to be backups, and it should work out really well.
All right,
So,
and then
nice improvement.
They're also putting in a 3/4 island up at the Costco entrance there, where folks still try to turn left out of there, which it's prohibited. So now they're going to add a concrete thing that you'd have to drive over if you want to turn left.
The left turn out of Costco has been prohibited for a long time, and that's the number 1 contributing factor to accidents in that area. People just really don't want to go down and do a U-turn. Well, now that is going to be prohibited. You're going to have to go down to the intersection and turn around.
All right. Well, definitely that will be a good improvement once that is put in.
Yes.
All right, that's all we have from our first council meeting of the month. Want to talk about, we just had primary election last week, and we had some results for that.
We did. We actually, the City Council had a special meeting on the 14th to canvass those results from the primary. So we have three areas in Coon Rapids, 3 wards that are up for re-election this year. Ward 1 is my ward, and I'm up for re-election this year. Ward 2 is also up for re-election. That's Bill Kicker serves in that capacity today. And also Ward 4 down in the south is up for re-election, as well as our city council member at large. So in Ward 4, the primary results came back, and Jenny Geisler, our current council member, and challenger Jeff Cosman made it through the primary, so they're going to show up on the November general election. And our city council member at large, Steve Wells, who's served the city in a lot of capacity over the years, has decided to retire again. And so there was 3 challengers in that race, and through the primary, the successful winners of the primary were Pat Carlson and Christopher Geiser, so they'll match out in the November general election.
All right. One other exciting event we had this month, the Hanson Overpass, the project that stretched those 2 construction seasons, is officially done, and the ribbon has been officially cut.
That's right. The Hanson Bridge Overpass is finally done. A great achievement for the city of Coon Rapids, and again, a joint effort by so many different agencies, the rail companies, the state, the county, the city, to get this done. Now we have a safe crossing over Coon Rapids Boulevard it's gonna save lives, and it's gonna improve services for all of our emergency personnel. So it seemed like it took a long time to get that project done, and the tail end of it seemed to drag on for so long, but earlier this month we had a ribbon cutting, and there was representatives from the state and the federal transportation department on the rail side of it, so a pretty exciting time for Coon Rapids.
Yeah, and then police, fire, and then paramedics, they each had a truck out there and helped cut the ribbon, and then kind of drove over it to signify the opening.
That's a good point. It wasn't just a ribbon. So there was a fire hose designating the fire personnel. There was a police yellow do not cross line designating that, and then there was gauze tape for the paramedics. So we had 3 ribbons, 3 folks cutting the ribbon. A real nice celebration there to get that done.
Good. Yeah. So that one's done now, and now we just got to get the one on the north side of 10 done. That's got to be done at the end of by the end of November, I imagine. Hopefully October.
Right.
All right. One other reminder: the Coon Rapids Farmers Market continues Wednesdays from 3 to 6 into the beginning of October. That is out at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. Also want to remind folks, along with that the splash pad is now open. That's only been open here a couple weeks now.
Yep, the splash pad is open, and since we don't recirculate water at that splash pad, it can be open. And we just remind residents, social distancing, COVID regulations are in place out there, so be careful. But enjoy the splash pad. It's a great amenity to this community. We're glad it's open.
Yeah, it's great. All right. Before we go, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about some tragic news we learned of this week. One of our police officers died on Monday at his home of natural causes, and just kind of a shock to the department and the community. Yeah,
very, very tragic news just this week that Officer Greg Koss had passed away. And so our thoughts and our prayers go out to the Koss family. Our thoughts and prayers also go out to the greater police community, because Officer Koss worked in the department for 29 years, and they're a family over there, so they're grieving as well as the family. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone there. Just a tragic loss to our community. Officer Koss was regarded as among the best officers in our community, and will be very greatly missed.
Yeah, one of the nicest guys you would meet. I know this was the first death of an active Coon Rapids police officer in the history of the department. And his son, I understand, he has a son and a daughter.
Correct.
And his son just recently graduated college and is becoming a police officer in the city of Mankato.
That's correct.
So,
Yeah.
unfortunate time for him, certainly, but following in his father's footsteps.
Yeah, just a tough time for that family altogether. I really couldn't imagine. The city, if you've noticed, the city does have all their flags flying at half-staff in honor of Officer Koss this week.
All right. Well, certainly our thoughts and prayers are with his family.
I sure are.
Thank you for coming in today and talking to us about our 2 meetings this month. Thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you back here again next month.
All right. Thank you.